Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. I'm here today with Susan and Tim Bratton, and I gotta tell you, when this interview started, I wasn't sure where it was headed or where we would end up, but it was actually really helpful to me. I learned a lot about sex and intimacy. I learned a lot about how to help my own clients with sex and intimacy. I think Susan's perspective in particular on how to think and teach others in this area is fantastic. Tim is a delight. I think you'll enjoy getting to know about him. I really enjoyed witnessing how detailed his knowledge of her was. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. And I hope that there are some takeaways. You can find more about Susan's work online. I will also point to that at the end. She shared some resources with me that I'm really grateful to have my hands on. I think you'll dig it. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you're in or near Philadelphia in the next month or so, that you can come join me for a relational life therapy boot camp, learning essential relationship skills. That is November 8th and 9th, just north of Philadelphia. There is still time to register, and I would love to have you meet you in person. You can shoot me an email, info@marriagetherapyradio.com. And as always, I'm grateful for and continuing to ask for your support financially for Marriage Therapy Radio. You can do that through Patreon. You can do that through supporting our sponsors. Those are great ways to stay connected to the Marriage Therapy Radio community. Or just let other people know. Let people know that they should listen to this podcast. There's a cool thing coming up that I am excited to share with you in November that I will be rolling out here pretty soon. In the meantime, I'm excited to share Susan and Tim with you. I've got a couple of more that are going to be really cool. I've really enjoyed talking to couples and getting additional perspectives. I think you will too. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around. So you guys have been together for a long time. How long have you been together?
35 years.
Yeah? And what's that been like?
Super. I mean, it's been so long, I don't even really think about it, like it's like how it's always been.
We've been together longer than apart.
It's like the vast majority of my entire adult life.
Yeah, we've grown up together.
When did you get together?
1991.
30s, when we were in our 30s. He wasn't even 30. He was like 26 when I met him.
Yeah.
He was a baby.
So you didn't quite, you haven't quite raised each other.
No.
you had a little bit of adulthood under your belt before you started to come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your thing, Susan, is you're an intimacy specialist. Like what does it say? You're an intimacy specialist for millions of people. Is that right?
Intimacy expert for millions. Yeah.
Intimacy expert for millions.
Yeah.
Tim, what's your job? Are you also an intimacy expert for millions?
No, I do the tech. So
he does the intimacy expert tech.
Yeah. Run the servers, manage the team, make sure the email deliverability is good, do the finances, infrastructure.
Surely you have opinions about how intimacy works.
Well, yeah, I help Susan with what I like to call, you can't see my little quotes, R&D.
Yeah, right on.
So yes, I help out with the R&D.
All right. Well, I definitely want to talk about that for a bit. But like when you guys aren't intimacy experts or tech experts, who are you? What's your jam? Like independent of your shtick?
Jesus, is there a jam independent of our shtick? I don't know. I think our shtick is just who we are, so there's no shtick.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure there's any jam without the shtick.
I mean, are you parents? Do you have hobbies that are? And I mean, what's the cliff notes on you guys?
Well, we have a daughter. She's in Australia. She's a super cool kid.
Yeah,
and doing great.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
She is studying sea cucumbers and how to help indigenous populations that live off of sea cucumbers that, harvest, fisher folk is what she calls them, and how to help if they're impacted, like in East Africa. There's a huge demand from China for sea cucumbers, and now they're getting overfished. So she's helping them repopulate the reefs and have a good, healthy ecosystem, and, giving them tips, techniques, ideas, setting up marine preserves, all those things that you do to save the ocean.
Right on. Is a sea cucumber an animal or a vegetable?
It is an animal. It's like
echinoderm.
It's like a slug. It looks like a sea slug.
It's a worm.
Oh, right on. I think by the time this episode comes out, my daughter, 18, will be in Australia.
Oh,
she's
fun.
on a gap year program that they're studying, like she's just getting kind of like a survey of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to Australia, they're studying in the reef. I forget exactly where they're going to be, but I'll try to have her wave hello or something.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
Learn about a sea slug or whatever.
She'll probably be in
Great Barrier Reef.
It looks like cairns. But they say cans.
I think that's on their menu.
Yeah. Because that is like that's the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef.
Mm-hmm.
That's where most of the dive ships go out. And it's a big city. So
right on.
There's good infrastructure there.
She'll love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful there.
And what else you get? So you've got the one daughter, and then what do you do for fun? Like, what do you guys do in Encinitas?
Tim's like, fuck.
Yeah. we have dates.
We're having a date tonight. We're going for a swim in the ocean, having a date, and probably going out for a burger.
Right on.
I'm also a pilot, so I like to fly airplanes. And we do bike rides. Susan does a lot more bike riding than I do. Mm-hmm. We like to swim in the ocean. I surf when I have time. I haven't surfed much this summer, but I like to surf. We like to travel, go wine tasting. What else do we like to do?
We travel for work. Work is what we do. We work all the time.
Yeah, we work a lot.
We work constantly. We're entrepreneurs, and we have about 20 people, and we basically take care of a giant, sled of people we drag behind us through life and make sure they're okay. And we're like mom and dad to the universe. That's what we are.
Right on.
That's all right. It suits us. We're good at it.
Well, how do you square that, like that big sled full of a lot of people with this energy around intimacy, right? Intimacy is this really private kind of, sacred behind closed doors kind of thing sometimes. So, like, how do you guys define it? How do you make sense of it for yourselves and then your people and then also your millions? Like, tell me a little bit about your intimacy philosophy.
Don't even really think I have an intimacy philosophy.
We schedule sex. So we have it. And then we lie down on the bed and we see what feels like it would be fun to do. And then we do it. That's what we do. And it's like...
Do you think that's the secret?
Well, we call it erotic play dates because if it was sex, it would feel like another job or another thing to get off the list. Or as someone recently said to me, duty booty.
Yeah.
And we already had a lot of that in the first decade of our marriage, and that, we had to fix all of our problems because of it. So learn how to have good sex together. So, we just usually look for the opportunities on our calendar to get, to just relax together because we're so darn busy. And then we just see what appetite there is. We do a lot of yoni massage and hanging out together and, oral and intercourse, the same things everybody else does.
Yeah.
We just don't have a lot of pressure on it, but we do schedule it. And Tim's really cute because sometimes I know what I want to do and I have something in mind. And other times I'm like, I don't know. Give me some ideas. And he'll come up with, 5 to 7 super dirty things because he's a horn dog, and which I love. And sometimes I'm like, well, I need to try this new sex toy. So we're going to do this thing. Put this on your penis or whatever. So we'll do that. We do a lot. He's like, what kind of new toys do you have to play with? So I would say we're very experimental, but we also have a real nice, deep groove we can just fall right into. So it's very easy for us to have sex together. It has a lot of wild variety, but it also has a lot of hominess to it and comfort and skill and mastery. If I lie down on the bed and I'm not sure if I'm really even in the mood, Mr. Magic Hands 99 times out of 100 gets me going. So we don't have a lot of stress over it, I would say, generally. We're just easy.
Oh man, this happens to me every time. I start with a battery of questions that I want to ask, and then you start talking, and I'm like, wait, now I have a ton of other questions. So
that's great.
One is, okay, so you said the first, say, decade of our relationship, we had duty booty, or it was a different thing. It's different than it is now.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? What was that in the first decade, and how do you define it or explain it to yourselves, I guess, and then to the rest of the world who may be listening right now? Like, what was unique or characteristic of that first, let's just call it decade for lack of a better phrase at the moment?
I think it's probably what most couples do. At least that's, when I talk to other people or when I hear what other people are experiencing in their marriage, the husband is horny. The wife is not interested in sex. The husband does honeydews, begs, pleads, cajoles, trades,
moans, pouts,
whines until
gets pissed, acts like a victim,
until the wife feels so guilty she just relents and she's like, "All right, you can fuck me.
Go ahead,
and make it quick." And then they have sex, and then the husband starts.
The cycle starts again the next morning.
Right on. Yeah.
I mean, that's when obviously not all married couples fall into that trap, but a lot do.
A lot.
And that's, generally when people are asking about that, that's what their experience is. And that's what our experience was. And we almost got divorced because I was unhappy. And Susan
I was unhappy too.
Yeah, she didn't know what to do.
We just thought it was my fault.
Yeah, I kind of...
Because you weren't interested?
Yeah. So there must be something wrong with
me.
Or
you were less interested?
Yeah.
And I, and when we first got together, the sex was really good, but over the years and then...
our lack of skill began to fray the edges of that interest.
Well, that's actually something I want to ask about a little bit because it has recently occurred to me, like sex is a thing that you can be good at. Like you can be good at it, you can be bad at it. You can be bad at it and get good at it. And I wonder if that's... I wonder how you learned that, particularly if you came out of a sort of a status quo, woe is me, this isn't broken, maybe we should get divorced. Like, what was the shift that you said, hey, we're going to actually try a different tactic? Yeah.
We're growth mindset people. Like if we're not doing something right, if we're struggling with something, we think there's something we can know.
Uh-huh.
And I remember the very first thing we did was looked on Amazon to see if there were any books we could learn how to have better sex. It was basically to help me have orgasms from intercourse, which I wasn't having. And I dutifully had intercourse with my husband for 12 years. And I was like, I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, what's in it for me, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, oh, I'm sorry you can't, but you should still do it.
It's part of the gig, yeah.
Right, yeah, you signed up for this. So, then we went to a marriage therapist, and the therapist was like, well, hey, this is just what happens. And Tim's like, we're never going back to her.
Literally, she said, well, Tim, you just have to accept that in a mature relationship, it's not going to be hot and sexy like it was when you first got together. And I'm like, she's fired.
Yeah, she's fired. And then we went to another one, and she tried to convince Tim that he was a sex addict because he was like, I would just want to have sex every day. And she's like, you're obviously an addict. So then he had to go through all that shame and guilt. And
I had to go to a sex addict, like part of the thing was...
Yeah, that was nuts.
I had to go to a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting. And I sat in the meeting and, everybody gets up, hi, I'm Joe and I'm a sex addict, blah, blah, blah. And they tell their story and they would tell their stories. And I heard their stories and I go, wow, those people, they have a problem and it's a good thing. This is for them. I just want to have sex with my wife every day. I literally got up and I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
Qualified. Yeah.
My therapist made me come and I am not a sex addict.
So then we went to a sex workshop because we live in the San Francisco Bay Area and they have those here. We're kind of like at the, crossroads of the personal transformation and sexual revolution, universe here. And we went to a sex workshop and Jiminy Crickets. We learned so many skills just in the first workshop that we just kept going. We did Human Awareness Institute, Sex, Love, and Intimacy. There's 7 levels. We did Ecstatic Loving, which is a tantric workshops. We did Expanded Orgasm or Orgasmic Meditation with one taste. We did, other stuff too. And then it was like, boom. It was like a light. Honestly, it was very much like a light switch. The minute somebody told us what to do and we did it and it worked, we're like, oh my God.
Interesting.
I started having orgasms. It was amazing. We discovered female ejaculation. It was just incredible. And then we were like, we should have sex with other people too. That'd be really fun.
Because we were like,
oh my God.
We discovered this amazing thing and we wanted to tell other people about it, show other people, and
have sex with other people.
Right.
So we'd ask our friends, do you guys want to have threesome or foursome? And they're like, no, what is wrong with you, freaky pervos, you know? And we're like, oh. And then one of our friends, David, he's like, hey, you guys, there's a consensual non-monogamy community that might be a better fit for you than trying to get your
rather than
Valley
just like surveying your normal like neighborhood. Yeah. Right on.
And we got into that community and we started going to sex parties and we're like, this is so much fun. And so we opened our marriage about, how many years in was it?
It would have been
like 12 years in?
15.
15 years in?
Like 10 was we almost got divorced.
Yeah.
And like 10 to 15 was when that was our kind of own reawakening and rediscovering and figuring out how to make it really good. And then, after 5 years of that, we're like, well, let's make this a bigger deal.
Practice with some more people.
Exactly.
That was fun. And we've had an open relationship ever since. We are poly, basically, if you're into the... Actually, I think we're relationship anarchists, ultimately. I recently heard that
what does that mean? Yeah.
Concept. What it means is that every person in the poly relationship or the open relationship or the group or the poly, whatever you want to call it, wants something different from being in that group. And that instead of it being that everything is equal, you just treat each person the way they want to be treated in the construct of this collective. And I think that's a really nice way to do it. It's just kind of like, well, one of my 34 books and programs I've written in the last couple decades is a book called Relationship Magic that essentially is values elicitation around relationship. And it helps you understand what it is you want out of a relationship. That was one of the biggest things that really helped our marriage.
Yep.
Was
one of the keys.
Getting clear on what he wanted and what his priorities were in our relationship and what I wanted, because we're very different people. And once we started treating each other the way the individual person wanted to be treated, instead of treating each other the way we wanted to be treated, it really changed everything for us. And so relationship anarchy is kind of an offshoot of that, where it's like, what do you want? Okay, we can do that with you. That's good. Yeah, fine. If that's what suits you, that suits us too. We can work with that. So we really like that idea, I think.
All right. So what do you want? What do you want out of a relationship?
What do you want?
So my number one is passion. That's why I'm in a relationship.
Is that why you fly?
No. The thing about the relationship is, and this is what the ebook is all about, is why are you in a relationship? What are the values that when you're in a good relationship, what are the values that you're getting? And so for me, the number one is passion. Like I'm in a relationship because I want my wife to be super hot, fun, sexy, put on lingerie and stripper shoes, prance around the house for me and have sex with me. Like literally.
And touch him and pet him like a puppy. He likes to be pet like a puppy.
I do. I like to be pet like a puppy too.
He's so cute.
So that's my number one. If I don't have that in a relationship, I literally say, why am I in this relationship?
Yeah, he's miserable.
So
he was miserable after a few years of me not wanting him.
It's true.
Yeah,
yes. And then number two is fun and adventure. Mm-hmm. And Susan has always been really good at that. She's always been exceptional.
That's a no-brainer.
Fun and adventure.
I don't even have to work on that.
Number three is honesty. I like to hear the truth. And even if it's not pretty, I just like to know what's happening. And number four is growth, which it kind of, a lot of people, so Susan pushes me hard a lot of times. And people go, wow, you let your wife get away with that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I like it because she pushes me, and growth is one of my relationship values. It's not the number one. Like if I were in a relationship and, woman's like pushing me all the time, but she never put on the slutty clothes and the stripper shoes, I'd be like, I don't, this is not.
I'm not actually sure that it's pushing you. That sounds pushier than it is. I think what I like to do is show Tim his potential.
Right, exactly.
Or I like to call him to his genius. Or I like to show him what he's capable of. Or show him where he can be an even greater human being. And I think that really comes from the fact that he's such an incredible person, so incredibly bright. And he has so much knowledge, and he's just amazing. And so if I see a place where he can grow, I want to offer that to him because I love watching him. I love the constant blossoming of my husband, the growing into an even greater and greater and greater man. And I love watching that.
Right on. Then Susan, what do you want? Like, do you have a list? Do you have a top 4?
Oh God, yeah. My number 1 is safety and security. I grew up in a really unsafe environment and had a lot of things happen to me that made me feel very unsafe. And Tim is my protector. He's also the wind beneath my wings, my stable base. When he was a little kid, his family called him super safe, and they would make fun of him because he would go around make sure the doors were locked.
I'm like, you guys didn't lock the door again. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And they would tease him about that. And that was like, that's my man. That's like my perfect guy, is the one that I always have health care. My cars are always in good repair. The doors are locked. We have burglar alarms. We have a safe word, because I am a sex-pert. So, there are potentially chances where people would, do something untoward and I'll have to use a safe word or whatever, but hardly ever. People are really quite nice to me.
Yeah.
Amazingly nice to me. Amazingly loving to me. But safety and security is my number 1. Honesty is also very high up in my top 4. And it was interesting because the first dozen years that we were married, before we kind of went through this, this cataclysmic experience together where we realized what we didn't know, we vowed to work on it, we learned what each other wanted, and we were committed to making it happen. We did what most couples do, because this is what's endemic to our culture. We withheld, we stuffed our feelings, we walked on eggshells, we just did not address our shit. And when we were going through the struggles where we almost got divorced, one of our friends, Tabor, he was a radical honesty coach for Brad Blanton. And so we were really exposed to this notion of radical honesty. It was shortly before that Brad had come out with that first book and started all that coaching and everything. And we were like, why don't we just tell each other the full truth? And it took us a while. It is so ingrained in us to lie and to withhold and to walk on eggshells and all of those things that we didn't realize how much we were doing that. And so when we started to tell the truth, it was quite hard. But the hard part wasn't me saying what Tim was doing wrong. It was me admitting my own foibles and insecurities and, the 7 deadly sins of humanity, those kinds of things. And so we just really grew to love being super honest with each other about everything. And that's what's gotten us through everything. That and expansiveness and patience with our partner's journey and allowing them the time to kind of get through whatever they're going through. That's, I think, another big thing that we really provide for each other. So honesty. And then I'm trying to think what my other ones are.
Well, it used to be. And the
variety and novelty.
Yeah. And freedom.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Variety and novelty. And it's funny because you give me all these things so much that I can't even remember what they are. But I like to.
But it's cool that he knows what they are. Like Tim's like,
you have to memorize them.
Yeah, he knows.
It's like you get a list. It's your cheat sheet.
Yeah, it's your cheat sheet to your partner's
We call
happiness.
it the busy husband's cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Which literally is you just do these things.
Just do these things and your wife will be happy.
And for other women, it's totally different.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think I found out, I tell people all the time, I figured out about a year ago what the secret to a happy marriage was. And it's do more things that your partner likes and fewer things that your partner doesn't like.
That's right.
That's reasonable.
That's the cheat sheet. That's the whole thing. You just have to do the work of finding out what they like and don't like.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is probably how sex works. Yeah. I mean, when you're getting in the bedroom and you're sort of like, I like that, I don't like that, in order to have more successful sex, you have to learn and then practice doing more things that they like and fewer things that they don't like.
Yes.
Yes. And I put a finer sense of detail on it because this is my area of expertise. And that is that a lot of the things that people are different every single day, and what you want today is not what you're going to want the next time you have sex. So thinking that you're always going to be able to do this repeatable thing, it's boring. So it's getting people to understand that every time your butt hits the bed, you've got to say, okay, where are we? What do you know, how are we feeling? Are we low energy, high energy, super horny, not turned on, whatever it might be. And like the other day, we laid down and my tummy hurt, and he rubbed some pain cream on my tummy, some topical THC pain cream on my tummy while we just chatted. And then I was moved to want to touch his penis and stroke it while we talked a little further. And then that got me moving toward lovemaking. And it's just kind of being with where you are. That's number one. And then number two is you have some pathways that work for you currently to achieve pleasure, but those are just the ones you've figured out so far. And your body has like a massive parallel processing super highway of pleasure pathways, and you just haven't taken that exit yet and discovered that territory. And so the people who stay in that groove of like, my wife will only let me have sex with her on Saturday at 4 p.m. with the lights off and missionary and only this way, like, I feel bad for the couples that get in that rut and think that's how we have sex, It's just like how we thought I couldn't have an orgasm from intercourse. We didn't know it was just simply a learnable skill. It was just one of the on-ramps to pleasure that we hadn't taken yet.
Do you have theories about, or why do you think we don't understand that's a learnable skill? Like, it feels like people settle for what they get without really understanding that this is an area that they can grow in. Do you know why we think that, or do you agree that we think that, or?
Yeah, 100%. We think it because everything we see about sexuality in our culture is through the male gaze. It's a very masculine oriented and procreative strategy. So there's porn and there's movies and television, and it's all just grab a boob and stick it in type of sex. And women are supposed to just be like instantly ready to go, which they're not, and men are much more often. And it's not, we even have like, it's foreplay and sex means intercourse. Like, no, foreplay is all the fun stuff too. Like, everything is sex. So all of our cultural constructs crash into all of the religious repression and the control mechanisms and the censorship and the shadow banning of an oppressed society that frankly wants to keep you scrolling threads, scrolling Instagram and Meta and X and Twitter and whatever, and buying things from Amazon and whatever, and consuming Netflix and Amazon Prime and whatever. That
sounds like my weekend right now. So I'm gonna crawl in my bed and have a cold and just do all that
stuff.
Well,
it's different when you're sick. You don't have any libido, so you do need to get better. That is true. But it's the cultural miasma and the censorship and the fear and honestly, the fear comes from lack of knowledge. So I mean, I was just reading. Seekis is like a sex education organization, an organization that tracks sexual education in the United States of America.
Say the word again.
Seicus, SEICUS.org.
SEICUS.org. Okay.
Yes. And they publish an annual report card by state of how much education and access to healthy sexual information students get in each one of our 50 states. And it is fascinating. And it's exactly what you think it's going to look like. The A's are the blue states and the D's and F's are the red states, and the red states are religiously
let's
repressed.
Speak to that for just a second, because I know for a fact that a bunch of people who started listening to this episode have already turned it off because they're overwhelmed by the concepts that they've never heard of before, polyamory or scheduling sex or whatever it is. They've clocked out. But for those of us who are still sticking around and we're learning something new and our minds are blown and we're trying to figure out how to like wrap our heads around this idea of sexuality, like how do you ease people in to new thinking? Because it's easy to come in and be like, oh, well, I'm never going to be the thing that Susan and Tim are. But what's the on-ramp for folks that are a little more reticent or hesitant to learn for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Mostly we don't talk about being poly because it's so triggering to people.
Right. And it's kind of like, if having a good, successful monogamous relationship is like, going to college, like poly's like grad school and postdoc stuff. Like
sure.
Most people should not do it.
No, we don't recommend it. I never said I recommend it to anybody. I just said, we just asked.
Yeah.
We just asked
No.
we were,
that's not my point. My point is like,
but it triggers people
as educators.
Yeah.
And as people who have trafficked in this area, millions of people, I'm sure you've come up with all kinds of resistance. The first thing you said, I knew people were going to be like, nope, like schedule sex. I don't want to schedule sex. Sex should just be automatic, should be spontaneous. Like I'm sure you've heard that a million times.
What I say is plan erotic play dates because sex is just intercourse to people. And women don't want to do that because it's
interesting.
Pleasurable for them. That's why. That's exactly how we started.
Yeah.
Here's my strategy, and that is that the people who are going to listen to this episode, because you're going to title it something about Sex-perts.
Yeah.
So all the people who are going to be triggered, a lot of the people who are going to be triggered will never even listen to this episode. Although I bet it'll be one of your top downloaded episodes because people are fascinated by sexuality. So they'll listen to it, but 30% of them will call me a whore, a slut, and a Jezebel for having sex with someone besides my husband. They won't call him that. There are no words for him for that, but he does exactly the same thing. A third of them will be like, oh, you do you, boo, and all that other shit was kind of interesting. And a third of them will be like, oh, man, I love these. This couple sounds really like they've got their act. They've got some, they're advanced level thinkers, and I could learn some things. This kind of opened my mind. And what I do is I don't worry about the people I can't help. I can't save everybody on the Titanic.
Yeah.
I'm in the little rowboat with the people who want to jump into my boat, and they're like, tell me more. Like, we're monogamous. And I'm like, good, because I would really prefer you be that. I'm not a consensual non-monogamy coach. I just happen to have that relationship with my husband because of our advanced skills and abilities to relate. And we like the dynamic of having some fun and adventure with other people. It's perfectly lovely for us. But, and it makes us good. It makes me good at what I do. If all I did was have intercourse with Tim Bratton for 35 years, what kind of an educator would I be? Right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I speak to the people who want to hear what I have to say, and I love and have compassion for everyone else, including the people who call me a Jezebel, a slut, and a harlot. Because they're stuck in a paradigm that my boat don't float in those waters.
Yeah. What's hard for you guys? Like, what's the challenge, and how do you navigate that? Seems like you cracked a lot of the code in terms of honesty and safety and security, but where do you run into troubles?
Just how much time we have to work. That's the big problem.
We work a lot, but I mean, I don't really feel like there's any challenges. I can be completely honest with him. He's an amazing husband. I love him so much. I love him more than I ever have. Being with him my whole life has just made my heart muscle so strong. He really listens to me. Like when I ask him to help me with something, or I think we should go a certain direction or whatever, I feel deeply respected and appreciated. I feel like we're really good at understanding that both of us bring equal value to the life we're co-creating. And I feel extremely respected. I feel like he respects me as much as I respect him. And we're really good together. We're really good at problem solving. We even have this little thing with our daughter. We call it Bratton Family Prevails. And BFP, like we just have this thing where we're like, we're getting through it, whatever happens, because life happens. You have illnesses, you have major issues, you have money problems, you have all kinds of things. Like we didn't escape any of that. The last 35 years, we've had terrible times together.
Yeah.
but we just keep on keeping on together. And we have a hashtag for ourselves. It's hashtag Team Sweetie. That's what we call ourselves.
Okay.
And so we really think about ourselves as a solid entity and a solid family unit.
Yeah.
And I think that perspective helps. And we actually also have 10 principles by which we live our lives together. Like we have these certain core tenets.
So you've organized it, yeah, and you have it. Speaking of your family, what's your daughter's name?
Taylor.
Taylor, what does she think? Is she like on board? Is she like all about it, or does she have her own vision, or like where does she fit in the my parents are sex-perts world?
Well, we've been sex-perts since she was a little kid.
It's just what she knows.
We always told her, just tell people your mom and dad are in publishing. Don't tell them that we publish passionate lovemaking techniques and bedroom communication skills. And I remember one time when she was little, Tim's been giving me these yoni massages, these expanded orgasm dates for decades. We have an expanded orgasm practice together. We'll have an expanded orgasm date when we get out of the ocean and we dry off and we go in the bedroom before dinner.
Yeah.
And he wears these like rayon fisherman pants. Tell that story about Taylor in the hallway.
So they're Thai fisherman pants. And they're good because I have this little tuffet I sit on. I think technically it's called the Zafu, like a meditation pillow.
Cushion.
And I sit on that. I put a leg over Susan, another leg out there, and then I can get access to her yoni like that. And so it's just those pants are really comfortable to wear for, doing this kind of like, it's like almost like a yoga position. Yeah. And Taylor, we would tell Taylor, hey, I'm going to give mom a massage. We need a little privacy. I'm going to give mom a massage. And then Taylor kind of started to put stuff together. And then like one day she saw me, I'm out going in the hallway, like getting stuff ready. And I'm wearing these Thai fisherman pants. And she looks at me and she goes, Thai fisherman pants, huh, Dad?
Dad. Massage, giving mom a massage.
You got your uniform on. Yeah, there you go.
What's interesting, Zach, that I hear, like it's one of those, and I know you have these in your, in your practice as well. And I don't see people one-on-one. I publish mass market online programs and books. So I'm not sitting I'm not a problem fixer. I'm an opportunity creator, a little bit different. Okay. And, but if I had a nickel, how you say, if I had a nickel for every time, right? I know you have the I had a nickel scenarios. One of my top ones is if I had a nickel for every time a person said, my parents never talked to me about sex. They never were intimate. They never, and I'm like, it wasn't really their job. They did try, most likely, and you gave them the biggest side eye roll possible, and you went la 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 la, and then you were oblivious to everything, and now you're playing the victim, like you're coming from behind. Nobody's mom and dad did that except Taylor Bratton, and we told her a lot. And I actually have this. I did this really fun video with Nat Kringoudis, who. It's on my Better Lover channel, and it's how to talk to your kids about sex. And Nat and I went through every stage of, ways to talk to your children about sex, because people really are frustrated by it, but they have to get out of this victim mindset and like pull up their big person panties and just like learn the techniques. Your mom's going to tell you how to have intercourse, Yeah. So, we're the birds and the bees and the babies and all that stuff, maybe. But, people really, they like hold that like this hard little crusty coal lump in their psyche forever, and it's like, oh God, get over it. Here, read this ebook.
One thing I love
I'm not a therapist, because I'd be like, oh God, get over it. Not my job. Not my monkeys, not my circus.
I mean, I might have thought that 10 or 15 years ago, but talking to so many different couples about how it works and how it doesn't work and what makes it work for them and what makes it work for other people has been a real game changer for me. And I didn't even know it until, the purpose of me doing these interviews on the podcast is to give people a bigger end sample, to have people go, oh, there's lots of other ways to think about it and to do it. And I think you guys are onto something, at least in the sense that you're able to talk about your sex and sexuality so transparently, and also that I think there is something really important that's embedded in what you're describing, is that you've learned how to do this. Like you've studied and you've grown and you've actually learned, like Tim's learned about your list. He's learned about what works for you and what doesn't. I mean, and I'm sure you've done the same. Like, I think that's a really cool takeaway for me, and I think for our listeners. And if they want to learn more from you, or from you in particular, Susan, like where do we go? You've got a channel, you've got a book, you've got what's going on? How do we find out more of what you have to offer the world?
Yeah, I'd say betterlover.com is where you can sign up for my newsletter.
A Better Lover or just Better Lover?
Better Lover.
There you go. Betterlover.com.
Betterlover.com is where Tim sends the newsletters out. I write them. He sends them out. We have a team. But that, I think, is the best place if you're like, I could learn a few things from these two nutsos. That's where you could go to do it.
And our newsletter is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah. He's so cute.
Right on.
It is. I've already written them, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so good. I forgot about that, you know?
Man, people, I wrote a bunch of stuff about 10 years ago in a column for a pretty popular relationship website, and people will come back to me now and they'll be like, oh, I read this thing I read this thing, and I'm like, that's pretty great. And they're like, you wrote it. And I'm like, oh,
good job.
Whatever. I'm so glad. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I'm sure it will be helpful for people, and maybe you're right. Maybe it'll be one of the most popular conversations that we have available. And that's all I got for you today, unless you can think of anything else I need to know. Well,
I just have a question for you, Zach.
Sure.
I would like to know, in all of the work that you do, what are some of the what would you say are like the top 3 sexual issues or struggles that you see couples talking to you about?
Well, I think the easiest one is this idea that, once we had kids and got into the flow of life and started driving carpool and worried about soccer practice and building our career, it just stopped being a priority. And now we feel like roommates. Like if I had a nickel for every time somebody told me, now we feel like roommates. And I'm like, totally, I get that. I just empty nested. Like I said, my youngest one is, and when it's not a priority, it atrophies. And so the biggest thing, honestly, isn't even in the bedroom yet. It's getting back into the bedroom, because they just forgot that it was a thing. First sex was for fun, and then it was for pregnancy, and then it was for, what was it for? Now, was it for now? And they forget. And so the number one thing is just getting back into the room. When it comes to getting back into the room, I still am dealing a lot more with the relational side than the actual physiological side. Yeah. So it's, how do I get out of my head? How do I manage the list of things that I have to do? How do I balance out initiation and rejection? There's all that energy, but it's, once they're in the bedroom and they're like, hey, we want to get good at this, I'm just like, oh, you should go talk to Susan. Yeah. That's a thing. Because if you're interested in learning about how to do it better once you get back there, then it's really about finding the right resources. So I'm glad to know of yours.
Good. Happy to get you all of my books and programs, and you can give them to your clients.
Very good. Very good. Well,
Great.
I will definitely follow up with you. For now, again, I'll thank you both. Tim, thanks for being here and for braving the scene. And it's good to know you.
Great to know you too, Zach.
Okay, thank you, Susan and Tim. I don't know if they blew your mind. They blew mine in a couple of ways, and I'm excited to be connected to Susan in particular and her work. If you're interested in learning more about intimacy, how to expand both your skill set and your experience, don't hesitate to sign up for Susan's email. You can reach her at susanbratton.com. She's also all over the socials. And again, I'm grateful to have had this conversation. Hope it was a benefit to you, and I hope it was of value to you. I'll thank you for listening, and thank you also for the time and attention you're putting into making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.